In this video, I'm going to ask you a very simple question. Have you got what it takes to be a coach? Lots of people think they do, but it's not always so. Now, coaches come from a wide variety of backgrounds, and the specific skills that are needed to help clients achieve their goals are going to vary from industry to industry and from one type of coach to another. But there are some skills and personality traits that are common to all coaches, regardless of the type of coaching they do. First and foremost, you need to have good communication skills. You need to be able to communicate effectively with your client. And you need to do this for two reasons. First of all, you need to get your point across. And secondly, you need to be able to understand what the client's needs are. And you need to be able to convey to the client that you understand what their needs are. So good listening skills are also very important. And communication, well, it's a two-way street. And sometimes you need to be a better listener than you are a talker. So you do have to spend a lot of your time listening when you're a coach. You also need to be aware of people's emotions. Not all things are expressed verbally. So you need to pay attention to people's emotions. You need to pay attention to people's body language as well when you're having conversations one-on-one with them. Because sometimes what people say and sometimes what people mean can be very different things. So you also need to know how to empathize. Note I say empathize, not sympathize. You need to be able to empathize with what your client is saying. You need to be able to look at things from his or her perspective and think of how they might be thinking and to communicate them from that sort of perspective. And you need to be able to offer words of encouragement without coming over as patronizing or condescending. Another skill that you're going to need to have if you want to be a coach is good planning and organizing skills. Clients can often become bored and disillusioned with poorly structured and disorganized coaching programs. So you need to be able to have a proper structure in place. You need to be organized. You need to know exactly how you're going to help the client achieve their objective. So the ability to plan and organize effective programs that deliver tangible benefits to clients is of crucial importance. And this can only be done if the coach fully understands the client's needs and goals. Now, once that's done, a good coach can draw up a plan of action to help the client achieve those needs and goals. Or to put it another way, you have to know what people want before you can help them to get it. And you can only do this if you can listen and you can understand what they're saying to you. A couple of other things that a good coach must be able to do. A good coach must be able to structure an effective plan for each coaching session so that you know exactly how the goals achieved at each session is going to fit into the overall scheme of things to reach the desired end goal. So you have to know how each step along the way fits into the overall picture of things. Another skill that good coaches need is analysis and evaluation. Coaches need to be able to analyze both the client's performance and their own performance. You need to know whether you are being able to deliver exactly the sort of coaching that the client wants. So you need to constantly keep assessing things, and you need to constantly be assessing the overall performance, both yours and the client's, and the goals achieved. So has the client hit the goals that he or she has hired you to help them achieve? And also in your own business, your own goals, are you reaching those? And it's a constant process of evaluation. Something else, you must have the skills and ability to revise and change the program to meet changing circumstances. You can't be a stick in the mud. You have to be able to counter changes that are going to happen, because sometimes when you implement changes in the client's business, particularly if you're business coaching, then sometimes the law of unintended consequences comes into play, and something might happen that you didn't foresee. And so you have to be able to then counter that and get the client back on track. And so that skill is very important. And all good coaches keep an open mind. You must be receptive to new ideas, and you must be amenable to changes and new ways of doing things. And when you think about it, quite often someone will be hiring you as a coach because things aren't working out for them. And it could well be that the things that they're doing in their life or in their business are old-fashioned and don't work anymore. But they keep doing them because they don't know any different. Now, you have to be their open mind for them. You have to be amenable to changes and new ways of doing things, and you need to be able to communicate those directly to your client. Now, observing how other coaches work and noting their success rates can be beneficial when you're a coach. So sometimes coaches will sort of feed off one another. And attending courses and seminars and keeping your own skills up to date is crucial, because keeping up to date with the latest ideas can benefit both your client and you. You should also have confidence in your abilities. In other words, you must know what you're talking about when you're a coach. Now, ideally, you should have an enviable track record of accomplishment. Success breeds success. Now, of course, when you're just starting out, you don't have any sort of track record, enviable or otherwise. But if you're just starting out, you should at least be highly knowledgeable. You should know a lot about what you're doing. You should have the right ideas. You should be able to communicate those. You should come across as being a confident person. Remember, your overall objective is your client's success. When they've achieved their goal, you will have achieved yours. And coaching is all about what's best for the client, not what's best for you. And your ego has to be strong enough to stand that. In this video, I'm going to tell you 5 things that every business coach should know. Okay, thing number 1. Every business needs a vision. And your business is no exception. So you need to decide on clear objectives for your coaching business right from the start. Are you in this for the long term, or is this just something that you're going to do now to pay the bills and tide you over? Do you want to keep things small, or do you want to grow into a larger business consultancy, in which case coaching will only be part of the services that you offer? And you need to keep these things in mind right at the very beginning when you're starting your coaching business. You need to draw up a proper business plan. After all, you'll probably be doing the same for your clients, so you should practice what you preach. And you want to keep that plan under review and update it whenever it's necessary. It's written on paper, not set in stone, so you can have some sort of flexibility. But be sure to set clear goals and objectives for your business, just like you're going to do for your clients. Because you see, clients will judge you, not just on the success that you generate for them, but on your track record for your own business as well. Okay, number 2, you can't go it alone. You might be offering one-on-one coaching to clients, but that doesn't mean that you can be entirely on your own as a business person, because quite frankly, there aren't enough hours in the day to do everything that you need to do in your own business and get inside your clients' heads too. So what you should do is outsource time-consuming tasks. So I'm talking things like admin, bookkeeping, that sort of thing. You want to outsource that. You want to outsource your social media presence to someone who's an expert in the field. Social media marketing can be very, very time consuming. And you can get drawn into spending time on social media and it doesn't leave a lot of time to do anything else. So having someone that you employ to take care of your social media presence for you will free up a lot of time. Also, web design. Your website should look like it's up to the minute, like you've got the latest ideas, and so therefore that will need to be redesigned and reworked every so often, and that can be time consuming. So outsource that to an expert. In fact, basically outsource anything that's time consuming or doesn't directly generate any income for you. And you need other people around you anyway, even if it's just so you have someone to bounce ideas off of when you're not sure of how to do things yourself. No man's an island, no woman's an island either. So you do have to have other people around just for your own well-being. Okay, number 3, you want to stick to your talents. Clients are going to hire you for what you know and for what you're good at. So don't be afraid to pass up work you're not 100% confident that you can do. Now, I know that's easier said than done when you're just starting out and you may need the money to pay bills and that sort of thing. But if you take on a job that you're not 100% confident that you could do and you make a mess of it, then that's going to impact, because you need to safeguard your professional reputation from day one. And you want to make sure that you get a reputation for being competent. And so therefore, if you're not 100% sure that you can do the job, it's best to pass it up rather than make a mess of it or just do, a so-so type of job. Also, don't be afraid to turn down a client that you're not 100% confident that you can help or work with for the same reasons, really. Because if you and your client are going to be at war, or if you share a different vision of how things should be done, then it's best not to do business with them. If your client's success is your success, then the converse is also true. And something else that you want to do is you want to foster good relations with competitors, and you want to recommend others who can do what you can't. And they may well reciprocate and send clients your way in the future. So it's a good idea to have someone that you can pass on work to, that perhaps for someone that you might not be able to get along with too well. Okay, number 4. You want to concentrate on coaching one type of business at a time. And this is very important because this is going to maximize your impact and your efforts. And you'll also be able to cross-pollinate and take ideas that you've learned from coaching one client and use those to help other clients in the same field. So you'll find that businesses in the same line of business tend to have similar sorts of problems. And once you've been able to help one business with their problem, chances are that another company in that same line of work is going to have a similar problem, and you can use what you've learned helping the first client to also help the second client. And it also makes group coaching easier because, as I'm just saying, everybody will have similar issues and everybody will have similar aims. So you can use one solution to help a number of different clients. And it also makes referrals easier because if you've done a good job for a client in one particular industry, then chances are they may refer you or recommend you to another company in that same industry because they may meet them at some networking event or Chamber of Commerce or some other type of event in the same industry. And of course, it makes advertising cheaper because you're narrowing the focus of your advertising at one particular niche. And this is particularly true when it comes to offline advertising. If you're going to take out an ad in a trade journal or something like that, you only really need to take out that ad in one particular type of trade journal. You don't need to spread yourself thinly across lots of different types of niche. Okay, number 5. you need to charge what you're worth. Now, there are no set fees when it comes to coaching. And looking at what others are charging won't help because every coach is unique and brings something different to the table. So coaching isn't a commodity. It's not like going down to a store and pricing up, a new TV set or something. You could probably work out where you can get the cheapest, or with services that anybody can do, like mowing lawns or something like that. So you can't directly compete on price. It's fine to do a couple of things. First of all, it's fine to offer a free first session to see whether you can help the client meet his or her goals and that you're both going to be comfortable working together. And of course, you can give your first few clients a substantial discount so that you can get some testimonials or referrals. That's fine. But don't sell yourself short, because once you get a reputation for being cheap, it's very hard to put your prices up and make a decent living. And of course, if you're doing one-on-one coaching in particular, you can only service one client at a time during that particular time that you're having the session. You can't do other things as well. So you do need to charge a decent price. In other words, you need to make your coaching business more like Prada and less like Walmart.